What's poppin', everybody, and welcome to the ABA, aka the Anything But Average podcast. We are your three co-hosts, co-analysts, co-producers, co-brothers, co-habitants of this earth. We'd like to start today on a solemn note. Unfortunately, in the wake of the celebration in Kansas City, 22 were left injured, 1 dead, and that's just unacceptable. Another senseless act of violence in this country. Our thoughts, our prayers, and our feelings go out to those families affected. Anybody that was, hurt or injured, and anybody that is in their periphery. Let's just take a quick moment of silence, think about them, and then hopefully we can be better tomorrow. Moving into it, the reason for the celebration and unfortunately the atrocity was the fact that the Kansas City Chiefs defeated the San Francisco 49ers 25-22 in the Super Bowl in what some would describe as a very boring game, a defensive battle between Spagnuolo and the former defensive coordinator Steve Wilks. And I guess I'll get us started on this. I have a pretty hot take on the game. I think that the Chiefs and Pat Mahomes were Roger Goodell's pretty boys again. I think that this is a conspiracy by the liberal media to get the Swifties and the Kelsey fans to get Biden elected. No, but on a serious note, I feel like the referees on both ends really, really, really screwed the pooch. There was missed holding calls. There was offensive linemen down the field both ways. I think that there were some penalties called in situations where normally they wouldn't be. I really think that, the black and white zebra stripes had too much of an impact on this game, especially in critical moments, and not necessarily in the calls that they made, but the calls they didn't make. After sitting and ruminating for a week and just listening to terrible take after terrible take, and people question if Purdy's really that guy, I will remind everybody that on March 10th, less than a year ago, he had Tommy John surgery to repair an injured UCL. And he was still better than 28 other quarterbacks in the NFL not named Patrick Mahomes. So I think that stands for itself. I think Spagnuolo even came out and gave him his respect. That conversation's over. Anybody coming at Shanahan, myself included, needs to chill. I know we're angry. I know we're hurt. And I know our hearts are weighing heavy, almost touching our testes. They're so down low. It's rough out here. But if you really do think about it, we got to score. They got to score. And then we get the ball back. And that was the plan. It just didn't get executed. Moody, who was terrific all day, -1 block kick. He did what he was supposed to do. Everybody on the football team executed. They just didn't execute as well as the Chiefs, and it's unfortunate.
Unfortunately, I don't think everybody on the Niners defense did execute.
Why do you think Wilks is out of a job?
I mean, first off, it comes down to Wilks, right? Like, if you look at some of the schemes that he played in certain calls, mainly that last play of that touchdown, they're on goal line defense, and it's second, 7 or second, they weren't close enough to be pushing a goal line all-out blitz, leaving a guy wide open for 1. 2, you got the injury to Greenlaw, freak accident, yeah, but then you put in Oren Burks, who allowed 9 completions on 9 targets and a touchdown with a passer rating of 134.4 for Pat Mahomes. That was pretty much a free field day. You would think after 2 or 3 they'd switch him out, even if they don't have the depth. Find somebody they can put in there. They have to do a better job at that. Depth is part of the game, obviously, yes, but a guy that's played special teams the majority of his career should not be in a crucial playoff situation, and just to watch him get picked apart by Pat Mahomes was absolutely fucking embarrassing.
Okay, I'm gonna bring us back to reality.
What reality, sir?
The reality is that we had suspect at the very least play calling in the second half on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
The defense chokes it. The defense also held Patrick Mahomes to 3 points for 30 minutes. So
true. We needed to capitalize on that. CMC fumbled early, and that was bad.
And I get you guys are coming in here protecting Brock Purdy. My intentions are not. This wasn't Brock Purdy's game that Brock lost. But I also think that Brock left some shit on the table and left some meat on the bone.
No, I 100% agree.
And he was great all year. Honestly, a revelation. I mean, I doubted him coming into the season. You both know that.
Better than Lamar.
We're just not even going to bite. But like at some point, Shanahan has to take some accountability. 28-3,
Yeah,
up
I
10
mean,
in the last Super Bowl, up 10 in this Super Bowl. Exact same play calling issues that we did last time
yeah,
of
yeah.
let's go aggressive in the third quarter, and then halfway through the fourth, holy shit, we got to fucking get this thing together. That's not how you win the Super Bowl. And
No,
it's,
absolutely.
Well, I mean, so I did come out on the last podcast and say, hey, maybe Shanahan has learned something. It was pretty apparent with the first two drives of the second half. In that third quarter, Brock Purdy, they have him throwing, 3 passes the first and 3 passes the second, drives, and they're both 3-and-out drives. You have CMC, the best running back in the game. Why aren't you utilizing him?
He did have 22 carries, and he caught 8 balls out of the backfield. 30 touches for your best players. Pretty.
It is good.
Can't really be mad at that.
I'm more confused why Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel are
Correct.
combining for 6 catches and 70 yards.
Because Deebo got 11 targets with an injured hamstring, and he only capitalized on 3 of them. So
the Ayuk,
3 of 11.
Every time he touched the ball, he's a revelation in that game.
On that play where Chris Jones busted things up and the coverage was completely shifted on the right side of the line when it should have been centered on Chris Jones, and then next thing you know, Brock Purdy's throwing the ball out of bounds to a third-tier receiver. Ayuk's wide open in the middle. Kittle's right here. You have whoever he decided to throw it to. I think it was Jennings, maybe.
Yeah, Juwan Jennings, man.
Which
unfortunately,
great game to him, but
dude, yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't want to put a Super Bowl on Juwan Jennings.
No.
If you sit there and look, you have Brandon Ayuk, Pro Bowl receiver. He's going to get paid.
I don't know. Somewhere David Tyree is doing one of these.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at a lot of these plays, dude, he's wide open. The problem is the pressure up front is getting to Brock where he's got to throw the 5-yard slant to Debo, or he's got to throw something that's not.
And it's not a slight against Brock. He's just not 6'5" with a rocket monster arm. So when that pressure comes, he doesn't have the same ability.
It's honestly a shot to everybody on the offensive line not named Trent Williams, because if you watch that game, Trent Williams was really the only one on that offensive line that consistently held his own.
Well, and even then, like on that first or second drive, he was penalized for 20+ yards. Like
he got penalized twice in a row, which is really out of character.
And you got to think about that though. Like that's 20 yards that we're moving back. It's like it's that much harder to get those 20 yards back, and every inch gained in the Super Bowl is.
And it's energy that you use. It's fatigue gained.
100%.
It's a game of inches.
What's really kind of crazy to think about this whole game though is it in 2 plays, either the missed or the blocked PAT that happened with Moody. Or that unfortunate muff punt where it bounced off the dude's Achilles. If those 2 plays hadn't happened, we wouldn't even be talking right now. We'd be talking about.
No, I mean, but like, who was that guy way back? Kyle Williams or whatever, and he was back there for the Niners, muffed a punt, and that cost us. I mean, at the end of the day, you just have to have players that execute better. What are you doing that close to the football with your back to it?
Well, I mean, it wasn't even his back. If you watch the actual
hit him
punt,
in the Achilles, right?
If you watch the punt, he's blocking, and the ball comes in over his head.
No,
right?
But the guy that's receiving the ball has a code word, and he starts yelling it like Peter, 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 which means get the fuck out of here, right?
Correct.
And so when that's happening, you have to execute that at that level. And they were talking about it all week. When I say they, the talking heads, ESPN, every network was talking about how special teams would make a difference in this game, and then it did.
Always does.
It's not like it was unpredictable. It's not like it was unprecedented. They just didn't do a good job controlling it in that situation. And if we're going to, boil it down to like this play, that play, this play, that play, you have a CMC fumble. I mean, I'm not sure what happened on that last Chiefs touchdown, but there was like 4 Niners defenders on that side of the field, and none of them were at the goal line where he caught the ball. And then you see it instantly as soon Fred Warner, like he's looking at Pat Mahomes and he's fuck. And the ball goes in the air and he knows he doesn't even have to look because he knows the coverage is blown.
Game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think that goes back to play calling in that particular play, though. I mean, if you look at it, it was an all-out blitz. You should have had a safety come over the top.
I think anybody that's played a game of Madden or 2 would know that, like, in that situation, you can only get hurt in one spot.
Right.
And so, like, to not have people in those spots, in those positions, like, I don't care what play you're calling. That's why, unfortunately, Wilkes, who statistically had a better season than either of D'Amico Ryan's seasons, is out of a job because he didn't execute when it really mattered, and that's the pressure we're dealing with. think
And see,
Shanahan.
that's why I'm starting to feel like, when do we start holding Shanahan accountable for not
Well, and that's the
executing?
thing, because he got to make
Because
this
like,
decision. He
well,
said
and the
their
other,
systems aren't compatible, or whatever is the code word for.
yeah. But the other part of it is like, and obviously I'm grasping a information with only the information we have, but like, even hearing about what the 49ers minds were going through with the coin flip for overtime, right?
Mhm.
They didn't even have a plan. The Chiefs knew what they were doing regardless, right? They asked both
Yeah.
teams. Obviously, this is one case.
Mhm.
Seems like maybe the 49ers weren't completely prepared for
Well,
everything
no, and
in
that's
that
the
game.
thing. Like, you have to, at a certain point, like, to sit here and say, like, we didn't have a plan for overtime, like, that in itself is just, that's, how do you indict yourself any worse? That's like showing up
2018,
to this swimming pool and saying, oh shit, I forgot my shorts.
not to mention, you were the offensive coordinator the only other time it happened in the Super Bowl. Just saying.
Well,
Yeah.
not the only other time, but yeah, historically the second worst time that it happened in the
I
Super
think
Bowl.
it's the only time OT. There's only been twice in the Super Bowl.
Pretty
Am I
sure it's
tripping?
twice, and Shanahan's 0-2 on both of them.
Yeah.
I can look that up.
Oh, well, interesting. But
Yeah.
underneath these same rules,
I think it's only ever gone to overtime in a Super Bowl.
yeah, in the quote unquote Super Bowl
28
era.
to 3, and yeah, in
Well,
the
yeah,
Only
Super Bowl
twice.
era.
and
Only
28 to
twice.
3, right, was an entirely different set of rules. That was sudden death rules, and so that
Sure,
was
yeah, but my point is like, the fact that you're just not even prepared for
well,
it's just
and so that's why I bring up that point where it's like, I mean, it seems like he kind of in the moment decided what was logically, I think, the correct decision regardless, which is we want to take the ball because we're going to score. And we think that they're probably going to score. And then we'll get the ball third. The Chiefs, though, were thinking we're going to give them the ball, they're going to score, and then we're going to go for two when we score.
I just don't see that. The logic to me is, do you want to set the standard,
Mm-hmm.
or do you want to reach a goal?
Well, and
like,
that's the thing.
I think it's a lot easier to win a game when it's, all right, we got to go out there and they didn't score, we got to get a field goal, or we got to go out there
Well,
and we
and
got
that's
to
the
score a
thing, 'cause
touchdown.
You hear the statement like Super Bowls aren't given or they aren't won, they're taken, you know, and
Mhm.
Steve Young a few days before the game tweeted something like Super Bowls are won with blood or taken with bloody hands, you know, and
Sure.
it's I know it's super dramatic, but I'm just trying to drive home the point that like there was opportunities where, you know, Shanahan could have really big balled in the first half and maybe scored more points. And then in the second half, it's like he was really showing the shrinkage and it was very conservative and very disorienting, kind of trying to figure out the direction, not only offensively, but defensively. They were trying to call that game, and maybe that's why. I mean, maybe he's right when he says their systems weren't compatible, or the offense wasn't designed to set up the defense, and he got to blame the defense since he's in the higher position.
I think their losing streak back, earlier in the season kind of showed that there were some issues between Shanny and Wilkes. Like, I'm not going to say that's the reason they lost the Super Bowl, but when you're a head coach and you have to go out in the media and say, hey, I have to move my defensive coordinator out of the booth, who wants to stay in the booth just so he can learn the system that I want to operate in, and so I can help him make decisions, there's some issues there, right? And so for them to even say, hey, let's stick with him and not give somebody else a chance, cool, good on him. You know, he obviously learned. He got better throughout the season. I think that he made the wrong calls towards the end of that game. I think Shanahan made the wrong calls towards the end of that game. I think it was a complete meltdown on the offensive side and defensive side of the ball. But what do you do moving forward? You know, do you keep that hostility between the coaches or do you move on? Right. So they come out after the end of the season. Obviously, the Niners are invested in Shanahan. When his offensive play calling is on and when he's got stuff working, statistically, his offense moves the ball. The problem is when he gets a lead, he gets scared or he tries to get cute, right? You see him go out there like we were talking about earlier. You know, he tries to push the rock down the field and get a quick touchdown by passing the football. When statistically the first half, what was working was exactly what we talked about, where it was those short dump downs to Christian McCaffrey and run the rock, right? And then you go out there and you just try and throw the ball. Like that's not what you were doing something that gave you a 10-0 lead in the first half. Continue doing what that was.
Maybe Steve Wilkes was doing that thing.
Yeah, but the other thing is when you're making those calls, that's actively hurting your defense every 3 and out, that now you got to put the boys back on the field. And that makes Steve, and I'm not defending Steve Wilkes here. I think he is a lot to blame. But it makes his job infinitely harder. And if he's
No,
already
100%.
struggling, you're already having issues. It's just,
Right.
I'm just starting to see a lot of holes in Shanahan's game. And this is the guy who glazes them yearly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the other thing, though. It's like you look at the success of the other 28, head coaches, not Andy Reid and not Shanahan in the last 5 years, and it's very sparse. So clearly both of these guys are doing something right, but that doesn't mean that they're also not doing maybe something wrong. Like, the Chiefs have lost games trying to be cute or lost games trying to do something or the other. We see it with the Bills all the time where they're just trying to do a little too much or trying to
Bill's going to bill.
Exactly. Them Bills going bill, It's just
wide right. That's all you got. I mean, come on.
she.
But let's we got to give him his laurels. We won't glaze him like everybody has been doing the last couple days. It's Brady, it's Montana, it's Mahomes for me. He's up there now. It just is.
I'm gonna go Jamarcus.
Wait, so you're putting
Russell,
him at number 3?
3.
I'm gonna go
Okay,
Dan
so
you're not giving
Orlovsky,
I
Joe
can't give him the go.
Montana, Drew Brees, and then Thomas Patrick Brady in that order. Jamarcus
He's
Russell's
won.
now.
I don't even know how you have Breeze up there. He's won 1 Super Bowl.
What do you mean?
I
Bro?
actually-
Jamarcus Russell's number 1. Drew Brees number 2. Kyle Allen number
there's
3.
no debate about
Dan
Jamarcus.
Orlovsky number
He's-
4. Okay.
Unfortunately, I still have.
Stop me
and
when
this-
I've lost you.
Chase, you're
Okay,
gonna
Broadway
hate,
Joe
you're gonna hate
Namath.
this list.
I don't want to hear your list.
You're gonna hate this list.
That fucking bald guy on Fox Sports.
Number 1,
Michael
Tom Brady.
Strahan.
Duh.
Number 2,
Michael Strahan.
Joe Montana.
Duh.
Mike Tyson.
Number 3, Peyton Manning.
No.
Number
Duck?
4, Brett Favre.
No.
This list is historically just chuckers, bro. Eli's number 5. I know it.
Number
We
5,
got
Just
Jameis
throw
Winston.
ducks, bro.
Jameis Winston, dude. 30 for 30.
Yeah, dude. Nothing for nothing. 30 for 30.
Oh my god.
Hey,
but
I got-
he's like, all I
Second
gotta
for
say is
30.
I've been a Pat Mahomes.
Nothing
You
for
know,
nothing,
I've been in
7-7. I keep
denial.
one in the chamber, baby boy.
I've been in denial about him. You know, I've not wanted to admit it. I gotta give it to him. I'm starting to become a fan. He's a nice guy.
Let me just
He's
say
up
it one
there.
more time. Nothing for nothing, 7 for 7. I keep one in the chamber, baby boy. Okay? Pat Mahomes is not him yet.
True.
He is him junior.
Yeah,
okay, there's the
honestly,
Whopper,
no,
There's
honestly,
the Whopper, and then there's the Whopper Junior.
Whopper Jr.'s great, bro.
Hey, I'm saving $1.50 every time and a little bit of heartburn. I'm gonna take the Whopper Junior.
on a serious note, though, like in that top 5, he's definitely in there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't have him 1 through 4.
I'm not like
He's like-
passionate about him being at 3, but like
No,
I gotta give
and-
him his.
And kind of like we were talking about earlier, man, like everybody's got him written off as a new GOAT. He's, better than Tom Brady, whatever you guys want to say. Like, whatever all these people are saying, like I said earlier in that text message, though, like, until he plays 20 seasons and has more than 6 rings, I'm not talking about
He
the
has
GOAT.
to have 8. He lost in the Super Bowl to Tom. He has to have more rings. It's just that
Yes.
is,
What kind of Harry Potter Voldemort logic
or he's
is
got
that
to
shit?
Gretzky, or he's got to Gretzky him with stats and also win like 5 or 6.
Yeah,
He's
and-
probably A, because of the era, and B, because of the offense, going to surpass Brady's regular
I'm sure he
season
will
career.
surpass him, but he's
Right.
got to Gretzky surpass him.
But
He's got to
no,
be like
I
30,000 yards ahead for me to
Jesus,
be like, all
bro.
right.
Well, no, but that's because you're a Brady Glazer, bro.
No,
You're like-
that's because I care about winning.
you sneak into Tom Brady's house multiple times a year trying to get the spice. Okay, 7 times a year.
7, and I only rooted for 6 of them. 7, and I only rooted for 6
I mean,
of
the
them.
Bucks ring was really kind of like the NBA bubble ring. It was like a Disneyland ring.
I didn't even care about
It's
that.
a
Super. I
Mickey
was just like,
Mouse ring.
whatever. I
Yeah.
was rooting for the Niners in that, to be honest.
Honestly,
or the
the-
Chiefs in that, to be honest.
the Bucks ring was just a way for him to tell Bill Belichick he's not the power bottom he wanted to be. So,
That's
that was
proof.
his message.
Maybe
to
the
Bill, that he's
Niners
a
would
dom,
hire
not a
Bill
sub.
Belichick as a defensive coordinator then.
Honestly, I want to see Vrabes.
So
I
I've
think-
got the
I'd take
hottest take.
Braves. I'd take
I got-
BB.
I've got the hottest take.
Pat Willis.
What happens if next season
Dude,
Kyle
Navarro.
Shanahan chokes another lead in the NFC Championship game?
Billy
Then
G
Sean
and
McVay's
Braves.
coming to the Bay. It's a great day
I know
for
this
McVay
won't
in
happen,
the
but I'm
Bay.
just going to say it because it's funny. Bill Belichick, San Francisco
Bro.
49ers head coach.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine him and John Lynch in a drafting room
Can you
together?
imagine? He would make them play the Beach Boys on the boombox.
But imagine the defense. It would be sick.
They would be so unmotivated coming out listening to Elvis Presley on the boombox.
Who do you
Dude,
think? Who do you think would be
he
the
lets him bump.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog.
No, he lets him play music.
Who's going to be the sub? For
What do you
Bill
mean he
Belichick
lets
on the
them
Niners defense?
play music, huh? What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
What are you putting the white guy in a box? Huh?
Shit. As the resident Canadian here, I feel like the wheat toast has to sometimes check the white toast, but hey, I'll let every Ritz be a cracker.
I just found out my friend's a Canadian. I don't know what to do, people. Help.
It's okay, the maple syrup runs flush through my veins. Bird of beef, bud.
I'm going to not say what I want to say because I'll have to edit it out.
Yeah,
You want me to send it?
send it.
You're an ice back and we know it.
This racial insult has been brought to you by Venus Single-Use Razors for Women's Legs, the official razor of this neckbeard.
And Flova Scotia.
Flova Scotia, if your hormones are out of balance, we can help you feel like the woman you know you are.
But
All right. Well,
you know,
that's the NFL pod for today.
yeah, I want to talk more about it, but I also just don't want to.
Hey, you know what? I tell you what, we're
You
gonna
can talk
rip-
about it as much as you want. I'm here for you. I'm your football therapist.
You're my emotional support football guru.
See, that's the thing though about the word therapist is it's a space away from being something really suspect.
No, go shave the stash right now.
Yeah, I'm
I
not gonna
learned from
lie.
Robert Kraft a certain
Oh.
type of therapy.
Speaking of that, bro, Robert
He's got
Kraft put out
Macaulay
like a
on speed
Michelin
dial.
star guide, but for massage parlors, you got to check that thing out.
Dude, if he actually did that, that'd be so legendary.
Well, so
Yeah.
yeah, so it's 1 Watson, 2 Watson, or 3 Watsons. Moving to Sean.
The last thing I'll say about the Super Bowl is, we'll see you there next year. I think the Niners keep their core. I think they come back.
Oh,
I think
actually, sorry for interrupting you, but I did have one thing to say. I told this story in the text thread, but I was out shopping for the daily goods, trying to find some wing sauce because they were out of the Frank's Red Hot. And I ran into like an 80-year-old guy with a blue Navy hat on, and he's just rocking that 50-year-old Chiefs fucking jacket.
Letterman.
And we made eye contact, and he says to me, "How you doing, young man?" And I looked him dead in the face, and I said, "I was doing better before I saw your jacket." We had a nice exchange dialogue in which he assured me the jacket was indeed made in America. He assured me that he's been a Chiefs fan and that he's from St. Louis, and I told him that I would see him next year in the Super Bowl. And I just
Very good.
wanted to share that story because, well, A, old people are scary, and B, respect to the vets.
Was it
But if
Mike?
you're a Chiefs fan, you're still a dirty fuck.
Yeesh. We have to leave the Chiefs fandom alone today, especially with what happened. So I'm not going to dig
True.
into Chiefs fandom as far as
I
the
got
Chiefs
nothing
go.
but love and respect for them, but they're dirty fucks.
All right. How much money did you lose to Mike, by the way?
I lost no money to anybody on this superb owl.
You didn't bet the Super Bowl with Mike?
Nope. Last time I bet for the Chiefs, I won $200, so I knew that there was some messed up thing happening. I could smell it, man. You just know that we're gonna blow a lead. You just know
Can't
it.
bet against Pat Mahomes.
Dude, I mean, it was rough. Like, I was sitting here, we had a bunch of people over, and I was sitting here at halftime.
You can cut out that dirty fucks part too if you want.
Not happening. I'm leaving it. Yeah, you're stuck with it, bud. You dirty fuck.
You're gonna have to worry about that for a while, Pat.
I'm
No, I
gonna
was sitting
ask
here
if I
with
can take a picture of this guy and brand a shirt with it. It's gonna say "dirty old fuck."
dirty old fuck with his Chiefs jacket on, made in America.
ABA.
Yes,
Did we have any comments about, anthems, halftime show, commercials, any of that?
So commercials, I can't believe they killed my boy Arnold. Okay, Patrick Stewart needs to chill. He ain't no Uncle Rico, and that's for certain. I think that Reba killed it. Reba McEntire. Okay?
Reba!
Yeah.
Reba.
Yeah.
Reba was my girl out there. Okay. It was her one chance fancy, and she did not let us down. Let me just say that.
Yeah,
she was
really
born
good.
for that.
Usher or is it Ursher?
Ursher, I believe. I've
Ursher.
never heard of
Ursher.
him actually. I don't listen
That was
to him.
alright. And then fuck. Was it? Help me here. Alicia Keys.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Again, never
That-
heard of her, but she's pretty good.
I think they
Well, she was
call her
hitting
that
the
because
keys,
she
dude.
plays piano.
Yeah.
Or maybe she
Oh,
holds
okay.
keys to things. I don't know. She
I
has the
did
key to
think
my
it was
heart.
weird when Ursher grabbed her.
Well,
I thought
Oh,
that was
yeah.
kind of weird.
I
there
think
was
he
a
got-
precursor. Some people want it all, but he
Yeah.
don't. Why not?
I think he pulled a little Michael Jackson sniff right there. It was just like, soaked it all in.
I did
But,
show my age when I went, Little John!
Yeah, Little John, the East Side Boys. That was
I got
sick.
hyped for Little John.
Luda
Has
came out.
anybody seen the Ying Yang Twins?
No.
Luda came out. He looked pretty ridiculous. Do you guys see the memes on that one?
Who was it? Sorry.
Luda.
Oh,
Ludicrous.
Yeah, he
Looking like the characters he plays in every movie.
As I say, he's
Fast
got
and
more
Furious,
body armor
doesn't
on than
he?
these. All the
Just
Fast and
put the
Furious,
hood
dude.
on.
Yeah.
but that guy can fucking rap though. Like I don't know if you guys know this. Like he's got bars behind the bars. Like when he
Dude,
really
I
wants
love Ludacris.
Yeah.
Luda.
It was kind of crazy to see who was hanging out with Taylor Swift outside of Blake Lively. They were up there. I know I'm bringing up T
I thought I
Swizzle.
was feeling her.
You were feeling 22. I don't know. Was that what's her name? Something Spice.
Ice Spice.
Yeah, Ice Spice.
Spice.
I always forget her first name. She's up there. She's the oddball out in that group, in my opinion.
Doing demon worship, dude.
Yeah.
she's got conservative Twitter fucking
I'm
rolling
not gonna
today.
lie, bro. For the longest time, I thought Ice Spice was honestly just Blake Griffin.
Like a miniature version. Like
His
a-
much shorter
Just
twin sister.
like R&B Blake Griffin. Like maybe went and got a perm, let the hair grow out. Turns out it's actually a female.
Yeah. Blake
It
She's
also
Lively.
was-
actually a female.
I do want to say I'm glad I wanted to get the Dunkin' Donuts jumpsuit, and then today I saw Darren Rovell got the jumpsuit, so I'm super happy. I did not get the jumpsuit.
That would have been a mistake.
Yeah, a matching uniform with Darren Rovell is a death sentence in my book. So
Yeah.
Well-
That Dunkin' commercial was stacked, dude. There were so many stars in
Bro.
that.
Tom Brady
You get
was
Tom
all
Brady in
over,
there.
bro. TB,
Yeah.
really branding.
Yeah, you get Tom
I
Brady.
swear to God, he's going to make more money after football somehow.
I mean, isn't he taking over the lead role with where was Greg Olson,
Mm-hmm.
the lead
At
anchor
Fox.
for Fox? There we go.
Wait,
Yeah.
Tom Brady's going to be an analyst.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
he's going to be the
play by-
color guy.
Oh
Mhm.
no, dude, we're gonna have two Tony Romos telling us what play they should run.
Dude, I can't wait to see.
Except one of them will actually be right.
I can't
If
wait to
Tony
see
Romo didn't have back issues, he was very underrated. If he didn't play for the
Jim!
hear me out, if he didn't play for America's team,
Actually,
he'd be so much more likable.
I actually like Tony Romo.
Dude,
I
he was
hated him as a
good.
player
He
because
was-
that was how it was QB. I
He
actually like
was
him as
so
an
good in the
analyst.
fourth quarter,
Honestly-
bro. He does know the
honestly-
game. He does know the game.
I honestly think with the way he analyzes on TV, it's only a matter of time before he gets an offensive coordinator gig somewhere.
Him and
just
Dan
the way-
Orlovsky gonna go run the Commanders.
Yeah, honestly, I would be for it. Outside of the trash that they hired and Cliff
I would
Kingsbury
be
and-
5 dude. I would be 5
I will, dude. I want to see Dan Orlovsky.
but yeah.
want to see him crash and burn.
I've got a hot take
Well-
though. Next year they're going to do a joint broadcasting of the Super Bowl. It's going to be Tom Brady and Tony Romo. They're going to be the broadcasters. It's going to be fucking lit. It's going to be the weirdest fucking thing you've ever heard, but it'll be cool.
Wait, you mean both of them in the booth together?
Yeah, hot take.
So
dude.
no professional journalist guy. Just
Nope. I
You know
wouldn't
who they
call them
should
not
get, bro?
pros. Come on,
that's waking up and choosing chaos.
that'd be
Joe Buck.
excellent.
Throw Joe Buck in there just
Fuck
so
no.
that
I
he
would
can
never-
glaze one
No,
of the
I
team's
don't
best
need more
players.
Joe Buck. I got enough Joe Buck.
I don't
You don't
think I
give
would
a
watch
buck?
it if it was Joe Buck.
Well, so not to get poetic on you, but I feel like this
Oh, here comes poetic
is
justice.
coming to an end.
by
And
Rex.
it's better for me to let it go now than hold on and to hurt you. But I gotta let it burn. This has been ABA on the Super Bowl. That was Usher on Life. Thank you.
Are we cutting this? Is that all you wanted to say? Are we done? Just end the podcast.
I just ended this segment of it with an Usher quote.